Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is my UFC 298 post-event breakdown. We're going to be going through every single fight, from the early prelim opener of Andrea Lee versus Miranda Maverick, to the main event of Ilia Topuria versus Alexander Volkanovski. I'm going to give my breakdown on every single fight on this card, my thoughts, what comes next, everything. With that out of the way, please consider a like, comment, subscribe, helps me in the algorithm. You guys have been helping me out. I'll give you daily MMA content. I know there was no video yesterday, but I'm going to make it up to you. 2 videos today because what was I supposed to make a video about yesterday? The UFC event was going... Let's get started. Andrea Lee versus Miranda Maverick. Listen. This is... We got 2 great examples of women's MMA tonight. We got an example of average women's MMA and great women's MMA last night. Andrea Lee versus Miranda Maverick was average. Horrifically average, mid-fight. Outside of a few exchanges with Andrea Lee and Miranda Maverick, really wasn't the best. Respect to Miranda Maverick here. She can strike. For women's MMA, she's pretty good. I know I keep on saying that, and it's like, whoa, wait, why can't you just say she's a great striker? Okay. Pretending that women's MMA is at the same level of men's MMA, that just doesn't make any sense because it literally hasn't been around as long. Okay? That being said, Miranda Maverick is actually pretty good. I don't want to put too much stock into it because, again, she could be undefeated. I know she's not undefeated. She can be undefeated her entire career, go on this crazy streak, get humbled, and then we're at ground zero here. Andrea Lee did not super impress me outside of a few grappling exchanges and, of course, that suplex, which, listen, that was actually kind of impressive. 1 spinning back fist, that was it. Mid-fight. Very, very mid-fight. Next up, Oban Elliott versus Val Woodburn. Damn, this was rough, okay? You see, I have a new appreciation for Bo Nickel. Because Val Woodburn ate a sin to the temple like it was a 6-inch sandwich, dude. This dude's chin is actually kind of insane. And Bo Nickel put him down in 3 punches. Like, think about that, guys. 3 punches from Bo Nickel put down Val Woodburn, something Oban Elliott couldn't do. Landing on him repeatedly, elbow. Like, Oban Elliott's striking is actually kind of good. Now, I will say this. Val Woodburn has 0 cardio outside of the first 3 minutes of a fight. And I do mean the first 3 minutes. He has great power for welterweight. Other than that, really doesn't bring too much to the table, and in all honesty, this might be it for him. Like, I know that sounds harsh, I think this is it. Like, you lose to Bo Nickel. I get it. Like, let's be real here. He was not going to beat Bo Nickel. Loses to Oban Elliott, and I'm just gonna say it, he gave up. He gave up in a few exchanges, okay? Like, he would get, like, I'm not even super impressed with Oban Elliott, because Val Woodburn would give up midway through a round, midway through these grappling exchanges, and Oban Elliott couldn't finish him. Like, you see what I'm saying here? Like, Val Woodburn didn't look good, but it almost hurt Oban Elliott. Just a little bit. Like, I am curious to see what Oban can do in the future, but at the same time, I would say slightly above mid-performance here. Oban Elliott, decent grappling, just needs to work on his finishing sequences. I mean, how long can you have the back before, like, fulcrum chokes? If you can't get a rear naked choke, do a Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Conor McGregor. Fulcrum choke his ass, or go for something different. Like, Val Woodburn gave up when we were grappling. Let's just be real here. That's what happened here. I think Val Woodburn's done. Oban Elliott looked pretty good. Josh Quinlan versus Danny Barlow. Rough finish, dude. Josh Quinlan is a dog, man. I respect this man. Listen, I picked Danny Barlow. Okay, I should also be going through my picks here. So right now, I am 2-0. I picked Miranda Maverick to win and Oban Elliott to win. These aren't crazy predictions. Like, I'm not going to toot my own horn. Anybody with, like, a little bit of MMA IQ would have picked that. Josh Quinlan versus Danny Barlow. I also picked Danny Barlow to win this fight. I was right, and I'm going to be real here. I'm not super happy with how this one turned out, purely because Josh Quinlan, just by his heart alone, and some of the striking exchanges, I mean, Danny Barlow needs to put his chin down, okay? Like, he has crazy power, good athletics for welterweight. Put your chin down, dude. You were getting caught You're getting caught every once in a while. He just has crazy power at welterweight. He was starting to toss around Josh Quinlan. Like, was the stoppage kind of late? Yes, just a little bit of a late stoppage. However, good on the referee. I think it was Jason Herzog. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. That the fight was standing after like a scramble of Quinlan just getting beaten around the octagon. And Jason Herzog runs right in front of them, stopping the fight. When you could have let that fight go on if you were not a good referee. Respect to him. All respect to these fighters here. Danny Barlow did really good. Good man. Good man. I'm excited to see more from Danny Barlow. Listen, the heart of Josh Quinlan. Give him one more fight. Give him a can. Give him somebody who's not going to, shorten his lifespan. Next up, Zhang Ming Young versus Brenson Ribeiro. Is it just me? Brenson Ribeiro kind of looks like Marcel Pereira. Just a little bit. Like, I remember doing the prediction for this, and I remember being like, why does he look so familiar? But no, Zhang Ming Young versus Brenson Ribeiro. I got this one wrong. Let me just say that. I got this one wrong. What I said is I trust the cams from Brazil more than I trust the cams from Zhang Ming Young. I was wrong here. Zhang Ming Young, the mountain tiger, was hungry. I'm not kidding. That's what he said. Zhang Ming Young came in here and sewed off what he wanted to sew off. He has power, decent striking. I am excited to see more of Zhang Ming Young in the light heavyweight division. Now, since we have a decent prospect, maybe if we go to a UFC Singapore, UFC China, Zhang Ming Young can go on that card. I'm thinking Singapore would actually be a little bit better. Put him in that card. I like this guy. He called out Alex Pereira. No. And I'm just going to be real here, and I'm not trying to be mean. Chinese is such an unfortunate language to talk shit in. Like, Portuguese sounds tough. Spanish sounds really tough. Like, English barely sounds tough. Talking shit in Chinese just doesn't work. I'm sorry. Like, that is such a hard language to pull that off in. Like, bro, he fights like a monster. Talking not really there. Rinya Nakamura versus Carlos Vera. Wow. What do I even say here, okay? Carlos Vera, I'm just going to say it. Good grappling, okay? He was able to mitigate the damage that he was taking from Rinya Nakamura. 100% deserved to lose. 100%. Like, Carlos Vera's style is so difficult to look good against. Now, good on Rinya, because there were a few, like, leg lock attempts that were closer than people realized. There was a point where Carlos Vera actually was able to, it was really close to establishing a calf slicer, kind of similar to what Charles Oliveira hit with, I forget what his name is. But no, just know that there was a calf slicer attempt that was relatively close, and not a lot of people caught it. Rinya Nakamura, good grappling IQ, was able to get out of here. However, what are we doing? Why are we engaging with this? Force a stand-up. Like, you want a finish, okay? Get a finish. Like, okay, let me rephrase that. You want to get a finish here? Why are we engaging with Carlos Vera where he's good? Like, this was just bad fight IQ. I'm just going to be honest with you. Force a stand-up. He is a compromised opponent. He is a one-shouldered opponent. You can notice that in the striking exchanges. This man threw a spinning back kick and plopped to his butt. It was a pull guard from a spinning back kick. I lost some faith in Rinya Nakamura. I really did. Like, it was that type of performance, and I get it. It's hard to look good against somebody like Carlos Vera, but at the same time, why are we engaging? Also, Carlos Vera grabbed the glove. Like, it was a blatant, like, fingers in the glove. Like, the fact that the referee said nothing was actually kind of crazy. Rinya Nakamura, though, work on your fight IQ. Just a little bit before I put some more stock in you. Other than that, actually, it was pretty bad. Marcos Ruggiero de Lima versus Junior Tafa. No, I got this one wrong, but to be fair, I'm not, listen, I'll take the L on this one. But at the same time, I chose Junior Tafa for the meme. I'll take the L, but I chose him for the meme. I didn't actually think Junior Tafa was winning this. I wanted to believe he could, but damn, those leg kicks, man. That was rough. Like, that was rough, bro. Marcos crippled Junior Tafa on one day's notice, okay? Junior Tafa did not, like, I'm not even going to say there was no checks because they were some fast leg kicks for heavyweight. Good performance for Marcos. It actually kind of sucks because when we're looking at Marcos here, how much are you really going to take this fight into consideration when we're talking about his record when Junior Tafa took this fight on one day's notice? Like, that's the problem here. Marcos looked good, but it's going to be hard to take this, like, with a grain of salt because it was on one day's notice. Rip Junior Tafa. I hope he got paid something to take this fight on short notice. And the crowd was loving him, dude. Like, if you, like, I was watching this with my dad. He's like, you know, casual MMA fan. I'm just going to say it. When he was hearing the crowd of Junior Tafa, even he was kind of like, bro, is he a star or something? And even I was kind of like caught off guard by how many people were cheering for Junior Tafa. But then I'm thinking to myself, this is Volkanovski's crew. Volkanovski, Robert Whittaker. There's probably some crossover between Junior Tafa and all those fan bases, and that's part of the reason why. But I'm happy to see the love that Junior Tafa got. It sucks he couldn't get the win and capitalize on that, but listen, MMA's MMA, it's unforgiving. We're going to cover just how unforgiving this fucking sport is near the end of the video, and probably another video later today. Amanda Lemos versus Mackenzie Dern, fight of the night. Also, probably the best fight to watch in the entire card. I'm just going to say it. Bro, go on Twitter and look up Lemos versus Dern. Like, whoa. Now, what are we going to say here? Dern has some heart, okay? Like, in all seriousness, no more jokes. Dern has heart. She got her face just hammered, okay? Half her face was destroyed. And still kept it competitive. I would argue she won the third, after the second round getting absolutely destroyed. Amanda Lemos wins the first, wins the second, arguably got a 10-8. Like, I think if she didn't get a 10-8, got a 10-8. This was a fight of the night performance. It's like, when I was talking about earlier, we had two examples of women's MMA. An example of great women's MMA, an example of mid women's MMA. This was the great example. I'm happy this one fight of the night. Bro, great fight to watch, too. But, yeah, I picked the Lemos to win. Okay, like, so far, I've gotten 2 fights wrong. One of them was a meme. Yeah, I picked against Ming Jungyong against Brenson Ribeiro. I'm just going to say it. I got that one wrong. Another one I got wrong. Anthony Hernandez versus Roman Kopylov. Listen, I bought into the hype. I'll accept when I get things wrong. And this was the only fight on the main card I actually did get wrong. I said Roman Kopylov was going to win by a KO. Anthony Hernandez humbles Roman Kopylov. Gets him with a rear naked choke, laughing at him. What a gangster move. Anthony Hernandez, you are now on my radar. Good man. Good win. Honestly, yeah, good win. Like, I was impressed with this fight. Performance of the night bonus, agreed. A little salty, I got it wrong, though. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, next up. I think I got every other fight right on this card. Yeah, actually, yeah, I did. Merab Dvalishvili versus Henry Cejudo. Bro. Merab Dvalishvili retired Henry Cejudo. Probably retired Piotr Yan, in all honesty. And Jose Aldo. Like, what are we doing? Merab humbled Henry Cejudo's wrestling, took him to school, picked him up, and threw him to the octagon floor like he was a toddler, while talking to Mark Zuckerberg. That sounds like a script to a movie typed up by ChatGPT. That really happened last night. And now he's probably going to fight O'Malley, which I don't think's going to happen because of something else that happened last night. Merab Dvalishvili, in all honesty, did he deserve a performance of the night? No. No, you can argue Merab should have gotten a performance of the night. I'll have to think on that. Merab did good against Henry Cejudo. Henry Cejudo left his gloves. He's a man of his word. I do respect that. People that stick to what they're going to say when they say they're going to retire. Good career. I think people, they get lost in the sauce when we're talking about Henry Cejudo, talking about, well, he's just cringe, okay? Henry Cejudo is one of the better fighters in that segment of the UFC. He is definitely, and when I did my GOAT list, I think I did put him in the top 10 or top 15 best MMA fighters of all time. Merab Dvalishvili is just a young and hungry guy with a cardio that cannot be matched. Let's talk about that. Merab's cardio, I am convinced, if you performed an autopsy on Merab Dvalishvili, you wouldn't find a heart, you would find an engine from a Ford F-350. Because this man does not stop. Built better Ford. Jeez, dude. Merab Dvalishvili puts on a good performance. Now, to a not-so-good performance. Jeff Neal versus Ian Machado Gary. Oh, my Lord. This is the worst type of fight you could possibly have if you're Ian Gary. Damn. I nearly died for a second. Ian Gary. A split decision win. Horrific. A 2-1 favorite split decision win. I picked Ian Gary to win and I was disappointed. Like that's how bad it was. I picked Ian Gary to win either by a KO or a dominant decision win. When I mean by dominant, I don't think he was going to F up Jeff Neal like he did Neil Magny. I did think he was going to keep him at reins the entire time and get a relatively easy win. And that kind of happened. Jeff Neal arguably won. Now listen. It's not a robbery. Some people are going a little bit crazy. Like here's the problem. This is what I mean. Sometimes it doesn't so much matter the outcome of a fight, but it matters the public perception of a fight. Here's an example. Alexander Volkanovski versus Islam Makhachev won. People expected, including myself, Alexander Volkanovski to get brutalized by Islam Makhachev, and it turned out to be a close fight in the first fight. Volkanovski came out as a fan favorite. This is the exact opposite. Ian Gary is so hated by the MMA fan base, and honestly rightfully so, that him getting a split decision is going to be called a fraud check. It is that bad. And to be fair, I'm disappointed in his performance. Ian Gary, I said in the official predictions video that Ian Gary's probably going to be a Wonder Boy level fighter. I am hesitant to even say that anymore. He called out Colby Covington. I think he does beat Colby at this point in his career. I think Colby's going to be in the downward spiral. And I think Ian Gary, just because he's young and hungry, is going to win that fight. But at the same time, Wonder Boy might beat Ian Gary. Like, that sounds crazy, and maybe I'm just, maybe I'm getting too much into it. Wonder Boy might beat Ian Gary. Kevin Holland might beat Ian Gary. Savkat Rakhmonov and Leon Edwards would humble Gary. I don't think he'll ever become champion. At this point, it's rough. Because if he wasn't so hated, I don't think it just wasn't a good fight. It really wasn't. It was a bad performance. You arguably lost it. It's a bad performance to have if you're Ian Gary. That's my thoughts on it. Robert Whittaker versus Paulo Costa. This cheered me up. I chose Robert Whittaker to win by a decision, and he won by a decision almost exactly like how I said he was. I said Paulo Costa, if he was going to win by a KO or a TKO. Didn't happen. Robert Whittaker sews off his championship cardio. Gets the job done. I'm going to say this, though. Paulo Costa looked better than I thought he was going to. And I'm going to be... Again, I think Paulo Costa might be fighting Khamzat Chimaev now because there's hype there. Ranked number 6 against ranked number 11th. I think, why not book it? That'd be a fun fight. Paulo Costa might be able to beat Khamzat Chimaev. It was that good of a performance. I think if Paulo Costa can survive the first round, and if they're going to make it the fight night main event, Paulo Costa might beat Khamzat Chimaev if he doesn't get submitted. But great fight. Robert Whittaker did good. Proved that he still got that dog in him. And maybe isn't as chinny as we thought. What's next for Robert Whittaker? Robert Whittaker versus Sean Strickland. Book it. Tell me that does not sell well. Let's do it. UFC Perth, Australia. Why not? That goes actually kind of hard. I'm getting excited for that. And we're on to our main event. I'm going to make another video talking about, just breaking down the reality of this. Alexander Volkanovski versus Ilia Topuria. Rightfully won a Performance of the Night bonus. Because, of course, he deserved it. Ilia Topuria. He is that guy. Now, I will say this. The Conor McGregor copying, little cringe. Still is cringe. I'm going to hold my own on that. It's not that cool. You know what is cool? Bro's boxing. I got this one wrong in the aspect of I said that he was going to get a KO, and Wait, I either said he gets a KO in the third round or he's going to get a finish in the first 3. I said one of those. It depends what take got put up. I got that relatively right. I got every main card pick right except for Roman Kopylov versus Anthony Hernandez, which I'm going to call that a win. Ilia Topuria, though, he did exactly what he needed to do. Get him onto the outside, stop his lateral movement, and set him up for a finish once he was able to pin him down. The one thing that Ilia said that surprised him, and I do like when UFC fighters say, like, is there anything that surprised you about your opponent, and they don't say anything? That annoys me because I can tell you this right now, 100% something surprised you because you were getting caught. He said the jab of Alexander Volkanovski. Ilia Topuria was getting stung with that jab even before the finishing sequence, made adjustments, was able to stop him from lateral movement and moving away from him by putting him onto the cage and get a finishing sequence there. I think at this point Volkanovski is chinny. Now people are gonna say, well, would he have gotten that finish if he didn't get head kick KO'd by Islam? That's a reasonable thing to say. Doesn't change the reality that Ilia Topuria, I think he ended the reign of Volkanovski. Like, I don't want to get too into it because I still got to make another video about it later today. But I need you guys to understand this. What Ilia Topuria did wasn't just beat Alexander Volkanovski. He ended an era of MMA. That's what he did. He beat Volkanovski in a way that it's going to be hard to argue that he should get an immediate rematch. And even if he does, he's going to go in injured. Even Topuria said this, like, listen, I will fight him, but at the same time, like, even he was kind of like, he's injured, dude. Like, we need to get something different. Now, I don't want to get too into the weeds, man. How about this? I have a really good idea of who Ilia Topuria is going to fight next, and I'll talk about that in the next video. Maybe I'll put a link to it in this channel, in this description, or at the end of this video when it comes up. But just know, I have a really good idea of what's going to happen with Ilia Overall, great card. This was better than UFC 297 in the aspect of we got multiple fights that were really good. Fight of the night. Honestly, you might have gotten it right with Amanda Lemos versus Dern. That was pretty good. My other one that I would argue would probably be Robert Whittaker versus Paulo Costa. That was also a really good fight. Worst fight of the card? Maybe Jeff Neal versus Ian Gary. Like, it was that bad of a performance for Ian Gary that honestly I might say that's the worst. Moment of the night? Ilia Topuria knocking out Alexander Volkanovski. It's not even a competition. Great card. I am excited to see what comes next in the UFC. Oh, and Dana White said what the UFC 300 main event is going to be. Alex Pereira versus Jamal Hill. We'll talk about that later. I'm going to leave you with this. Tell me what you think about this event in the comment section below. How did your predictions go? Did you win money on this card? How much was it? Tell me in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. It means the most to me. Adios, guys.